It feels like a very long time since Storm was actually viable in Modern. With so many hate pieces and so many better strategies and combo decks in general, why would you even be shooting people in the face with Grape Shot? Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I asked that very same question in the league later in this video, and my opponent decided to come swinging. Today we're going to be talking about Modern Storm. So specifically, what is the deck doing these days, and how is it actually relatively different in many ways in terms of how we want to approach this matchup? So specifically going into the Modern meta itself, we can see that it's really only at about 0.5% of the meta game, and it's going to be one of those tier 2 strategies. Again, you're going to come across it maybe once every 2 leagues or so, maybe every 3 leagues. But it's going to be there in the background, and of course Modern is still always going to be that format of if you have an extreme high level of pilot skill and perseverance for the game plan, for the deck you want to play, then you're probably going to do really well with it. So with that in mind, we got the Modern Storm list, and the big change that I want everyone to pay attention to is really going to be the card Wish here in the middle, and we're going to go over that in a second. There's a lot of searching, there's a lot of tutoring, and there's a lot of variance in how this deck wants to play, what it wants to do, and it's really interesting in that sense. So we don't necessarily get to use the same tools to shut this deck out from the very beginning, and let's go over that. So the basic premise of a Storm deck is that you want to get something like Goblin Electromancer or Brawl Chief of Compliance onto the battlefield on turn 2, and then on turn 3, with its Instant Sorcery Reduction clause, you just go off. You're going to cast a bunch of spells that draw cards, create mana, off and off and off, and then you're gonna do that again by casting Past in Flames, which allows you to do that again with all the cards in your graveyard, and eventually you get to the point where you find a storm win condition such as Grape Shot, such as Goblin Warrens, and you just storm off. You create 1,000,000 damage, or you create 1,000,000 tokens, whatever it might be, to get through whatever defenses your opponent has. And that's the basic game plan. Cast 1,000,000 spells, use one of the most broken mechanics in Magic's history. Now, the big difference here, as I mentioned, is the card Wish. And now Wish itself is recently being printed out of the D&D set. And of course, out of that set, we got something like Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which does have its use against a deck like this, but they do have a lot of high CMC spells, but exiling those cards is relevant when you're thinking of Past in Flames. But no longer is this deck going to be as weak to Graveyard Hate or Surgical Extraction, whatever it might be. It obviously is in many senses. You know, obviously Surgical Extraction Wish is going to shut off this whole conversation we're going to have. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily want to hit this card with Surgical Extraction. There is still going to be other parts of the game plan that you still have to worry about, depending on where you are in the game state. Allowing you to take cards out of, allowing the Storm player to take cards out of their sideboard, they're going to be able to grab cards like their win conditions, the extra copies of Grape Shot, extra copies of Goblin Warren, extra copies of Past in Flames, maybe Lightning Bolt for a creature that they're worried about. All these things that come together and culminate into a deck that actually has a lot of legs compared to where it was before. If you look at the list itself, again, out of the sideboard, we have that 4th copy of Gifts Ungiven, the Shenanigans, the Echoing Truth, the Grape Shot, Goblin Warrens, like I mentioned, Spell Snares, Fluster Storm, Shattering Spree. It's all there. If the main board hate is there, Storm is going to have access to a card that can, 95% of the time probably answer the problematic card that you have that's stopping them. So that's something to be aware of when you're thinking of the deck right now. It's not as linear as it was before. It's pretty multifaceted, which means that, again, it's going to be slightly weaker, or slightly weaker of a matchup for us. It's going to be slightly stronger against something like Surgical Extraction, where previously we were saving Surgical Extractions for things like their reducers. If we managed to get them early with the Crab, we could get it with grab Past in Flames with it, because getting Past in Flames is a massive stop, because at some point you just end up casting rituals, and those don't draw you cards. You can cast 1,000,000 rituals, but you're not going to do anything with it. You have to have the Grape Shot in hand, which is why Past in Flames is important to then reuse your draw spells. So getting that out is very important. So now it's more likely that we want something like Soul Guide Lantern. Get the graveyard out immediately. That way, if they wish, they're not going to be able to wish for another copy of Past in Flames, which we weren't able to surgical. Their graveyard is just gone. So this is really going to be another matchup where, that argument of mainboard Soul Guide Lantern over a mainboard Surgical Extraction is going to be even truer. So I'll let you all see what happens in the games. I think ultimately we had a lot of fun with it. There's some really high pack games, and there's a lot of lines of play that are relevant, you know, now and were relevant back then. So it's nice to know that the deck in its early game is still similar in terms of how we want to approach it, but that mid to late game, if you could get there, is very, very interesting. And you got to play a lot of attention in terms of how you play it out, how you sideboard, how you mulligan. So I hope you enjoy the games. Let me know what you think, because maybe Storm is back. I understand like the basic concepts, but I'll tell you what, I won't even cheat. I won't look up like any draft ideas. Like I know I've watched a ton of draft from Luis Vargas, LSV. And I know like basically what's going on, but I don't really know like what cards work together. Like I would never draft Storm. I'll never draft anything like that. I would just be drafting like basic synergies because I suck at Cube. By the way, I don't think we've come up against a single Luros deck. So, Luros is not meta anymore? Confirmed? Luros isn't meta anymore? We're losing a lot of information in these leagues, eh? I mean, it's probably just because of the challenge happening at the same time. All the Luros players are in the challenge right now. Okay, so we got Serum Visions. Is this just Murktide again? I think it's just Murktide again. Yeah, I think it's just Murktide again. Well, I don't know. I think it is. Like, I have a proxied version that plays like 1 or 2 Serum Visions or something. But the spells are so powerful that I don't see spells. Or sure, I'm picking good mana and end up like 3-4. Yeah, exactly. Like, it looks really fun. I like, this is my thing, right? No, all right. Ban, you're getting banned. That is a bot. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to do this. Storm? Is this Storm? Is it playing snow-covered? Is this Scred Red? Oh, Scred Red. Is it Scred? Why are you playing snow-covered stuff? There's so much going on. Like, what is this Pyretic Ritual? Is this like... Is this Blue Moon? Is this like Blue Moon with Scred? Yo, who deleted is my phone? I'm finding it amazing. What am I playing against right now? What are these leagues like right now? Like, what are, yo, like... Get the wildest stuff going on at this ELO. Like, yo, I'm 0-3 right now. Get the wildest garbage. Like, what is going on right now? You know what? As long as they don't do anything, I can just cycle Fracture Sanity and be happy about it. The Pyretic Ritual and like the snow-covered island is throwing me off so bad. It's throwing me off so hard. I really don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on here. Okay, so what am I milling off the top? There's potential that they maybe like expected this and they built this here. Okay, it's Storm. Okay, cool, it's Storm. All right, that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. So I don't, like, so far, I don't have a need to reveal the fact that I'm playing white. I don't have that need, so I'm not going to do it. Right? Like, I'm not going to reveal that. So I'm just going to get a basic island. I do have the planes here if I really need the white for prismatic ending or something. But, so if I go... Yeah. Wishes. Oh, this is cool. Okay, cool. So I'm wondering if they're just going to try and like play Brawl and go off that way. I think what I'll do is like if they play Brawl and try and go off in response to their first spell, then I'm going to drown, right? Like that's... I haven't played against Storm in a hot minute, but... I mean, even Wishes. Like I'm being thrown off just a little bit, but like, yo, playing Wish is kind of crazy. That's fun. Like crazy as in like it's cool. So I still do remember some of the sequencing as to how to mess with this deck. So we have our black and things. So we wanna let them commit spells, not counter. We don't want to counter, right? We don't want to counter the brawl. We want to let the brawl resolve, and then in response to, I mean, to be fair, like, what am I playing around with this, though? Because I don't have, like, Fatal Push and stuff, right? Like, do I try and play around Spell Pierce? I mean, if I play around Spell Pierce, they can't do anything. This might actually just be better. Yeah, you know what? No. If I'm trying to play around Spell Pierce, this is just better. Let me counter this. It's actually just better. Because what are they supposed to do here? They don't have anything for one. They played their third land. They can't play like Remand or anything. Draw 3. Gotta be kidding me right now. Come on. Okay. Okay. So March works here. What sucks though is that March, like if I'm gonna use March, I'm gonna have to exile Kaya's Guile to kill a mana reducer. Oh, they have the Pass in Flames too. Oh, if I just, yo, the Kaya's Guile would have been nuts. The Kaya's Guile would have been nuts. I would have exiled along with creating like a 1/1 or something. The Kaya's Guile actually would have been nuts. Spreading Seas does nothing. Of course, I'm not casting Spreading Seas if I don't have to. I would, right? Like if I have nothing else, whatever, just go for it, right? But they're just gonna go off again, right? So my best hope right now, March of the Otherworldly Light. And what's nice here, again, yo, March is instant speed. I can do this, right? March is instant speed. It gives me the ability to do this. So let them cast their first spell. Bet. I'm gonna hit that. Exile that. Cast. And then just 1 white, right? So March. What? Pay X. X can't be less than 2. What? Click the adjust to reduce the value of X. What? I'm just gonna add mana. I don't know. Yeah, all right, whatever. I'm so that wording is so confusing. I literally don't know what happened. That wording is so confusing. Okay, so now they have 3 red, and unless they have Manamorphose, yeah, they're not doing much with it. So now they have to have another reducer. If they have another reducer, go off. I have nothing. Like if they play like Goblin Electromancer here, yeah, or Brawl, like yeah, whatever. I got nothing. But I tried. March the Otherworldly Light again gives me that option. The problem is you do have to lose a lot of resources for it. And what sucks is these Spreading Seas are doing nothing for us. So these Spreading Seas are oh my lord, they found one. Okay. They have the Pass in Flames in here too. Yeah, they can, if they cast like 2 or 3 spells here, like I think I just concede. They pretty much go off. Yeah, I think I just choose done after X's 2 as well. Yeah, I was just so confused as to what was going on here. Okay. No way. And a land? Yeah, no, they have it. Yeah, so now they cast, now they rebuy this. Now they rebuy the Pass in Flames, and yeah, no, you got it. You got it. I'm not watching this. You got it. That's fine. Oh lord, that sucks. Spreading Seas is out for sure. I think I take out Visions here. Yeah, so calm is something I'm thinking about here. Instead of like path. Like, I guess like Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to bring in Dam for the Goblin win, but like the most common win is going to be shooting those grape shots at my face, and Calm gives me 2 turns. So I think Calm does some fun stuff. So maybe I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, I want to like that and see. I want to like that and see. It's also completely fair that I might have to take out Tasha's too, but Tasha's exiles, which is just important. It's just, if I'm at that point where I'm grinding, then like the extra spells I'm gonna exile could matter, right? Like that, I could catch the one of Past in Flames. I could catch like the last tutor target they have, something like that. Okay, honestly though, with all that said, I should bring in more removal though for the reducers. I don't know if I'm supposed to bring in like all the Pats, but yeah, you know what? We'll remove 2 Tashas. The Visions is already gone. Could actually just take out Archive Traps. Are they really searching their library? Like, they have gifts. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, again, I am forgetting that. Yeah, like, are they really... Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should have just taken out the Archive Traps. This is not a good hand. This is a much better hand. Yeah. This is a much better hand. So I'm going to keep this, drop the field, done. Throw out the Hedron Crab first. Okay, so with all of them flooding that we've come across in this league, it would be nice to, there you go, find our 3rd land. Just as I spoke it into existence. Mystical Dispute, word. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to do this. Mystical Dispute my crab. I think we're pretty like well prepared to this too. I actually really would have liked Ashiok in this matchup too. Just continuous mill, stop the gifts ungiven. We did see gifts ungiven in their graveyard, so that would have been nice to stop as well. Just like random things, right? Like you obviously don't stop the wishes, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Okay, so we have the Kai'Skal. I've sack exile, but if they're playing Mystical Dispute, it doesn't hit Kaya's Guile. So that is the benefit of that. That is the benefit of that. So I just have to hope they don't. Well, I mean, this is going to be a scenario where if they play a Reducer, I have to let the Reducer resolve and then in response to the first spell. Or if they just pass through completely, then I can just Prismatic Ending on my turn, like no problem. So let's see how they sequence it. But we do have to find some type of forward pressure at some point. Like, Hedron Crab, like, I think it's very evidently clear that as the game goes on, Hedron Crab becomes less and less of a threat. Just because this deck will scale so much better. With more resources, more mana, more time. Like, Storm will definitely scale a lot better. Okay. Alright, interesting, interesting. So there's a Past in Flames in their yard, so we get a lot of value out of exiling. Got lots and lots of good value. Empty the Warrens, okay. What do you got for me? What do you got for me? Electromancer, okay. Okay, so if they have Mystical Dispute, this is fine. This is great if they have Mystical Dispute. So sack a creature, exile all cards. Thankfully, Past in Flames is a sorcery. Oh, they're just gonna go off in response? Like, yo, come on now. Come on now. There's not much I'm doing about this. Yeah, this is just GG. I mean, they played this really well. They played this extremely well. Storm still got it. Storm still got it. Like, good for them. I mean, good for, yeah, honestly, good for them as pilots. There's like, they played around us like pretty damn well. Played around us pretty damn well. I mean, this is showing us that, like, you know, prismatic ending and sorcery speed stuff is pretty big downside. So I mean, yeah, no, go off. You're good. You're good. You win. I lose to it. You got.